Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We are going to be talking about Plant Therapy's Himalayan salts. I have lots to say about this salt, so we better get started. Woo, I'm feeling it this morning, you guys. We are going to be answering questions this whole live show. How do you get through a day? To me, it smells like a very light kind of pine scent. So if you've been wanting to get one of these drop shop items, we are just going to have lots of fun. Who is ready for some life hacks? We have all of this fun stuff to give away. It's colorful, cozy. Really, we just like to get to know our customers. Never look a horse in the Cheez-It. Welcome back, everyone. So if you've ever had any questions about Plant Therapy's Himalayan salt in general, I have a lot to say about it. You guys are going to be here to answer your questions. We're going to share some DIYs. There's lots of DIYs that you can use with Himalayan salt. So we're going to have a fun show. But first, we want to see who's joining.
I don't know what his message meant.
Okay, Caitlin has a message for me, so we're going to take a quick pause.
PO3195 was issued 5/14 of this year. I'm checking with purchasing on an ETA, and I don't know what any of that means.
Okay, so the purchase order was issued at this time. He's checking with purchasing to see when the estimated arrival time is.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't know what
There was a lot of letters in there. Okay, awesome. We're going to talk about what Caitlin and I are over here talking about in just a second. But we have Cecilia, who's joined us from Wisconsin, Anna, who's joined us from Connecticut, Barbara from Maryland, Jessica says hi from Pennsylvania, Karia says hello from Pennsylvania. We have Carla says good morning from Indiana. Good morning, Carla. Claire's joining us from Illinois. Wait, Jessica is joining us from Pennsylvania. Wait, is that the same Jessica? Oh, that is the same Jessica. Your comment came through twice, or you're doing it multiple times. I don't know.
Well, you got to make sure you get seen.
It's true. It's true. Tiffany from South Carolina has joined us. Sarah says hello from a cool Wisconsin. Tanya says hey from Florida. We have Shella from Arkansas. Agatha says good evening from the Philippines. Good evening, Agatha. Hope your Friday is over almost, which is wonderful. It's the weekend for Agatha already. Nora from Myrtle Beach. And let's see, Michelle from New York. Just so many people joining. I'm not even halfway down the comments yet, you guys. So many of you are joining. Good morning. Love the pink salt, Debbie says. Oh, Debbie, I do too. Okay, let's see. I'm now halfway through the comments. I just wanted to see if there are any comments that I need to address. And then Caitlin's going to tell us who's joining on Instagram.
We have Daughter of a King 38 saying hello from Houston. We have Marissa Liesler from Iowa. We have B Dennis 61 from Shashi, Texas.
That's my favorite part of Texas.
That's my favorite part of Texas.
We have E Claire 126 from Indiana. We have Mauricio Moreno from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Wait a minute. Was that E.Claire or E Claire like delicious?
Like E_Claire. E Claire.
Now Danny wants an eclair.
We have the native Robin from Maine. I'm swiping. And then we have Destiny L. Lincoln from New York.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Okay, so as I'm scrolling down, I'm now halfway through the comments, and I've seen lots of people saying that they've either been really wanting to try the Himalayan salt for a long time, or I've seen lots of people that said they've been using Himalayan salt for a long time. I, too, have been using Himalayan salt for years and years and years, and Plant Therapy, actually, I don't know, for those who have been with Plant Therapy for a long time, you might know like the Posigy story, which was another company that Chris owned, and that company like dwindled away because we stopped selling those products and we started focusing on essential oils. But during that time, we also sold Himalayan salt. So, I mean, it's been probably, I would guess, 15 to 20 years, I bet, because it was even before I was married. So probably 20 years that I've been using Himalayan salt, and really exclusively Himalayan salt in my home. And when you, at least for me, anytime I use like regular white table salt, like I'm like, this stuff's nasty. It is, like Himalayan salt just has the best taste to it. It is so yummy. Plus it's full of so many minerals. It's so fantastic for you, not only to take internally, but also to use topical on your skin, because your skin is absorbing those minerals, and it's just, it really is such a fantastic salt. So if you don't know much about Himalayan salt, I highly recommend, I mean, I'm gonna answer some of your questions, but do more research on it because it really is such a great salt. It's fantastic that it's pink. I don't know. We have a lot to talk about because I truly am obsessed with Himalayan salt. Like, really obsessed with it. Yes, Danny. But we're going to play a game first, which is why I'm not going to keep going on all of my stuff.
Well, I just had to say I'm really excited about this about this show because I've always looked at Himalayan salt as I always thought of it as a bath salt. I've always thought of bath salts as something you don't ingest or anything like
Right, as if it's like two separate things.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is
I mean, some bath salts you wouldn't want to ingest, probably.
yeah,
Like,
I've never-
I don't know, can you ingest Epsom salt?
No.
Yeah, that's what I always
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, so there's bath salts that you don't want to ingest, but Himalayan is a salt you can ingest and also use in DIYs and in the bath, and it's
I'm
amazing.
excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun show.
It is going to be a fun show. Okay, so we're going to do all of that. Think of all the awesome questions you have about Himalayan salt. I'll only be able to answer probably 5% of them because I won't know any other answers. No, just kidding. I might know some. But think of all the questions you have. But first, we are going to do a giveaway before a game, I think, that will include a giveaway. Coriel says, love, 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 love your top, Caitlin.
Oh, mine, thank you. I got it at Buckle approximately a year and a half ago, so they may or may not have it anymore. And I also had it in green, but then I got acrylic paint on it and it never came out.
Caitlin, that was like a, I don't know, like a really funky commercial.
I literally remember every single like place where I purchased my shirts and like what day. Like I'm weird. I'm a
That
weirdo.
is crazy. Normally people are like, where'd you get it? I was like, oh, no idea. I probably got it yesterday and I still have no idea where I got it.
It was in my husband's drawer.
Yeah, I stole it. Okay, so let's do this game. I already see a good question from Ronnie. Danny, do you see Ronnie's question? She's on YouTube. They're on YouTube. If you want to
I can find it.
write it down. If you see any questions, will you write them down? Because I don't want to miss some of these really awesome questions. Oh, I see so many good questions. Okay, so I'm excited to get to that. But first, we're going to play a game. The game is called What Oils Are From There?
No, where is that oil from?
Except for we're doing it different.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So I do have an intro. Are you ready?
Yes.
I mean, it's one we've had before, but this is
I'm
one of
ready.
my favorite intros. Okay, here we go.
Oh, where is my oil from? Oh, where could it be?
That was perfect. 60 seconds is on the clock.
So, Danny, what country are we talking about?
So we are going, well, let's show them the country.
Right, I don't have a country.
Oh, it's on there.
Oh, you want
yeah,
to show
right
them?
there. I'm so sorry.
You want to show them this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's Indonesia.
Indonesia, guys.
So what you're doing is you're going to tell us what oils are from
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah. Now this one, we'll show you an example of one that is, because this is
Yes.
one there. So, Indonesia.
Indonesia.
One of my favorite places to get oils from. Did you guys recognize Caitlin's voice in there singing? At
Is
the
that
intro?
whose voice it was?
One of
There's a
them.
bunch,
There's
yeah.
Jamie in there too. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
Jamie was the one that was like,
The last one.
where could it
I was
be?"
wondering whose voices. I didn't recognize voices. That's funny.
And I think one of like the old,
Ashley
like
and
yeah, there's like a ton of them on there.
I remember one of the very first times Caitlin was on the show as a CS, as one of our CS employees.
yeah.
Yep.
And we were asking them like, what's a talent or something like that? And Caitlin's like, I sing, and like she just starts like doing this, and I was like, whoa. Like, most people don't have the guts to do that. And she was just like, I sing, and just like,
Yeah, we were like,
You
give
were,
us
and
an
I was like,
example.
okay.
I was so impressed. I was so impressed. Anyways, what oils are from Indonesia?
Somebody's saying patchouli, clove, lemongrass.
I mean, it may or
vetiver.
may not be true. I
Cuban.
honestly don't know. Who's looking at on pt.com to see if any of their guesses are right?
Not me, but I
I'm
will.
Caitlin is. I know where some oils are from, right? Like some oils are very obvious.
Blue tansy.
Blue tansy.
Morocco.
A lot of like the Australian oils, because Australia is like, that's a thing. Like if it's an Australian oil, you get it from Australia, right? Like
Manuka.
like I know like eucalyptus is best from China. Like it is just a thing, you guys. And I know some people are like, China, what? But it's true. Like the best eucalyptus comes from China. Some of the best eucalyptus. It's one of the best places to get it. But like Indonesia, I don't know. But we're gonna find out.
That's right.
So clove is not from Indonesia. It's from Sri Lanka.
So close. I'm gonna come look at these comments too.
I'm
Ooh,
looking at
patchouli. Lots of people were guessing patchouli and vetiver, and lots of lemongrasses. I'm seeing lots of guesses for those ones.
Some
Okay.
people are saying nutmeg.
Ooh! Ding 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 ding. Nutmeg. Nutmeg is one. That one
Well,
I
that was
can.
the one we were.
That one I can verify.
Patchouli is from Indonesia.
Yay! Look at that, patchouli and nutmeg.
And we source our oils from, so our nutmeg could be from Indonesia one year, and then we find a better source.
Sometimes that's true with oils. Not all oils.
Right.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, we get our lavender from France and Bulgaria, and we get lavender from a lot of different places. So yeah, it just depends. Like, some oils, it's really like a very certain region that it truly is the place you want to get the oils. Other oils, there's lots of places that it grows really well in, and we're just always looking for the best of the best. So, pretty cool.
Is that the same for Himalayan salt? I wasn't sure. If
I mean, Himalayan salt comes from the Himalayas,
Okay, that makes sense.
which is only
In one
where the
place.
Himalayas are. I don't know where that is.
I don't know where they are either. Where are the Himalayas?
I think they're in China.
She's Googling.
That'd be awesome if I was right.
I'm copying Debbie and Sarah. Anna knows what's going on.
They are throughout India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Bhutan.
So it could be
and
any
Nepal.
of those places. I don't know
Yeah.
where specifically, but I do know that it comes from the Himalayas.
So let's give away some nutmeg to a couple of people
Deal.
who commented.
My eyes are closed, and I choose Tanya Leonardo. Their guess was lemongrass, but we're still gonna send you a nutmeg, and you can use it in the DIY that Emily made on Wednesday. Okay, that was really hard to get there, you guys. And right here, Roxy 009. Patchouli, it's patchouli. No idea what else. I love that comment. Roxy 009. We're also gonna send you a nutmeg. And then, okay, and you know what's funny about that? My eyes were closed, and that was a Facebook and a YouTube comment.
Ooh,
I know.
impressive.
That was meant to be.
Okay, let's choose this person. Okay, so it's Josie Murphy, and she said, I knew a soy bark because it was in the clearance section.
Oh,
Oh, I love the soy bark.
That one does smell quite delicious.
yeah.
Yeah. Coconutty.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Congratulations, you three. Email cs@planttherapy.com. Confirm your mailing address when you email them, and we will get nutmeg sent out to you. And really, it's the best time of year for nutmeg. Nutmeg smells like nutmeg. So, like, go to a grocery store and smell nutmeg. It's going to be a bit more intense, a little bit different just because it's so concentrated, but it really smells like the spice. It's spicy. It's really just great. I don't know how else to explain nutmeg.
Nutty.
It's nutty and spicy. Yeah, like it's just really good.
Fall aroma.
It is the perfect fall aroma. It's wonderful to use in lots of DIYs. Or in this little easy, simple, easy DIY that we're gonna do today, you could also use nutmeg as well as some other spices like cinnamon and stuff like that. That's all I came up with. Clove bud. I don't know. That's all you got. Okay, so what questions do you have about Himalayan salt? While you guys are remembering the questions that customers were asking, or if you wrote them down or paused them, or I don't know. So like I said, I've been using Himalayan salt in ingesting Himalayan salt, using it in my home and cooking and stuff like that for over 20 years, I bet. Just way before I was married, we used it in my home. It's the only thing I've ever used in my home since I've been married, and I've been married for almost 15 years. That's a really long time. Should we talk about that? And I know it's good for you, but even if it wasn't, it tastes so much better than table salt to me. Like, just the taste is so wonderful. Oh, it's my favorite on top of a baked potato with fresh tomatoes. I just can like taste it, and it's so good. I love Himalayan salt. I love it, love it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's full of minerals. I think it says that it's like, I mean, I used to know this, but I want to say there's like 97 or something different minerals in it. I used to know the actual number, but it's like the same minerals that are naturally in your body, and it's just like, it just works really well with your body, just like replenishing those minerals. So it's really good to ingest, and it's also really good to use in DIYs on your skin topically, because those minerals just soak in through your skin. And so it's really good for your skin, really healthy for your skin. And then it's also just tastes really good. And so it can be used, like I said, in cooking and DIYs, just lots of different options. Plant Therapy carries the coarse grain salt, which is this thicker salt. And this salt is really good in cooking to like marinate your steaks, or, you know, like it's really good in marinating stuff, like when you want that big chunky salt, right? So anytime you would use like a chunky salt, that's when you would want to use the coarse salt in cooking. But the coarse salt is often what's used in DIYs as well. And we're gonna do just a really easy passive diffusion in a minute with the coarse salt. And so that's what you would want for like any passive diffusion. And then the fine grain salt, this is what you would use in, you know, your everyday cooking, right? Just to salt your food, you want the fine grain salt. And this salt is also good, sometimes in combination with the coarse salt, actually for like a salt scrub or something, or just like a really light salt scrub. This salt is going to be the best salt to use. So it's also really good in DIY. So, is that Catriona? I think that's an I can't really tell. Which one is better, coarse grain or fine grain? So it just depends. I use a lot more fine grain than I do coarse grain, only because I use fine grain in everyday cooking, right? So I'm using it all day, every day. It's what's in my salt shaker. So I use more of it, but there are times when you need the coarse grain. So it really just depends how you're going to use it. But although I use coarse grain more, I definitely have both in my house for just depending on what I'm using it for. Both can be ingested, both can be used topically in DIYs. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what questions did we have earlier?
Somebody wants to know if the Himalayan salt is helpful for cleaning your lungs of smoke or like lung diseases.
That I'm not comfortable going that far in making claims, but I do know that it is really good to inhale for your lungs. Yes, so it really helps with like respiratory support, and yeah, so it is really good for your lungs, but I don't feel comfortable saying if it helps like clear smoke or something like that from your lungs. That just is more than I would feel comfortable saying, but it is good to inhale for respiratory support for your lungs. And we were going to talk about the Himalayan salt inhalers today, but unfortunately we're out of stock. And that's the conversation, Caitlin and I, because we do have an order coming. We were just trying to find out the exact date that it's supposed to be here. So they should be back in stock really soon. Because the order was a few months ago, so we should get them back in stock really soon. But the Himalayan salt inhaler, you want to use the coarse grain salt when you're using that. And what you're doing is it's just this little inhaler. Well, I have it right here. It's this little, it's not, I mean, it's glass. It's not glass, but it's a...
Porcelain?
Yeah, it's like a ceramic, yeah. And what you do is you put the coarse salt in it, and then it has this hole right here, and it has a space where the coarse salt goes in at the bottom, and you just
has holes as well.
Right, it does. Yep. So that it can breathe through. Yep. when you're breathing. So what you're doing, this is really good for respiratory support for your lungs, because what you're doing is you're breathing in the salt. So you would put this hole in your mouth and you're going to take a deep breath in, and all of those wonderful minerals and benefits from the salt are going to go into your lungs, right? And it's really good. You can do lots of research on these salt inhalers because they're used a lot, because they've been used for centuries, and a lot of people just think they're amazing. So we are going to specifically talk about this, and then we're like, maybe we'll just talk about the salt because this is out of stock right now, but we will let you know as soon as it's back in stock, because they're so fantastic, especially going into cold and flu season, and anything that you can do, to help with respiratory support. These are just really fantastic. And there's other ways I don't know. We might be coming out with other products that also have the salt in it to help with respiratory support. It's probably too far to say that.
I do have some really good, it's not me that has the questions. There were some really good comments about, like Sarah Reed said, do I need to let the salt and oil mix before I put them in the inhaler? Will the plastic inhalers work? And then another comment that's kind of related to that was, Magdalena said, I saw a DIY where you add salts instead of a wick inside the personal inhaler. Any thoughts? So those were kind of related. Can you kind of address that?
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to come out with. We are going to come out with pre-scented Himalayan salt inhalers. It's amazing. Yes, they're so good. They last for so long, but you can make them in a DIY as well, and the plastic inhalers work fantastic. So you can actually do a combination of the wick and the salt, or you can just do the salt. I highly recommend the coarse salt. That's the salt that you want to use in those DIY salt inhalers. And the salt is going to soak up the oil. So you can mix it in a bowl first and then put it in the inhaler. You could also the salt's, just going to sit at the bottom of the inhaler. You can also just dump the oil right on top of it. You still need about the same drops, like 5 to 15, depending on what oil you're using. Just dump it right on top of the salt and let it sit there, I would say, for probably 30 minutes to really allow that salt to soak up the oil before you shake it and then use it. Because otherwise, the oil doesn't soak up immediately, and so it's going to be messy if you don't. So let it sit there and let that salt soak it up. But you can do it in a mixing bowl or something previously too if you're more comfortable with that. I know, I always spill the beans. But it really is a great way. And then you just put the inhalers, right, those personal inhalers right on your nose, and you just breathe deep, and you get the same benefits of all those minerals and stuff, just the benefits of that salt just going into your lungs and helping with respiratory support. When do those come out? I don't know. I forgot.
I didn't even know those were coming out.
They are.
There's so many products that are coming out.
So excited for them.
I think it's Friday. They're coming
No.
out Friday.
Danny is not telling the truth. They're probably coming out in November or something.
Of next year.
Of 2021. I did see someone say that they said something about they put salt in a bowl or something, and they just inhale it, and their husband thinks they're weird. I don't remember who said, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Tom got me an updated date
Oh.
if we want to.
Do I want to know?
End of September, maybe.
Oh, great. So
Maybe
they think
earlier.
the salt inhalers will be here by the end of September. So again, we will let you guys know. We'll post it on social. Do you want to make note to do a back in stock campaign?
Yep, I will.
We'll post it on social. We'll send an email, and we'll let you know when those are back in stock, because they are so good, and especially this time of year. But again, for any of that kind of respiratory support, when you're using them in an inhaler, in the salt inhaler, the personal aromatherapy inhalers, you want to use the coarse salt. That is the one that's going to soak and last the longest. It's the best salt for that use.
So many good questions. Another question we had was from Lynn Quast Burgess. She says, does the salt have a different taste? Does Himalayan salt have a different taste?
I think it has quite a different taste. Yes, it tastes good to me. So table salt tastes salty, right? I don't get anything else but just that sodium. It just is salty. Himalayan is obviously salty, right? It's salt. So you're getting that same salty taste that I think everyone in the world loves, but it's much more complex. There's actually kind of a flavor to it, but not like a flavor it's not like a spice, right? It's not flavoring your food, but it's not like sodium. Like, it's just so good. And I really mean that, because there have been times where, you know, you go to a restaurant or something and I'm always disappointed. And I actually know, I'm pretty sure my dad, I'm not gonna lie, my dad, I'm pretty sure, I mean, he doesn't go out very often. Like, I don't think he goes to restaurants, but he carries like a little salt with him to use. I know people who carry their Himalayan salt in like a portable little container to use it at restaurants because of how much better it tastes than like regular table salt. I mean, it's so good, you guys. I think it tastes so much better. Yes, use the coarse salt in the plastic inhalers. Yep, the personal aromatherapy inhalers, as well as the Himalayan salt inhaler that we're going to let you know when it's back in stock. But you want the coarse salt in both of those.
The other day I made a steak. We did a video talking about our Himalayan salt, and I made a steak, and I had never used our Himalayan salt, and I noticed that you don't have to add as much salt, Himalayan salt, as I do with regular salt.
But it's not saltier than salt, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like, if you were just to compare the two, like, oh, it's so good though.
Yeah.
It's maybe it is like you have to use less because it is more intense, but maybe because of the complexity of it, it doesn't feel more intense, you know?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is such good stuff. I love it so much. Are there different qualities of salt? I'm sure there are, Kathy. Just with everything, how it's processed, you know, just where it's processed. Like, I'm sure there are Himalayan salts that aren't processed in the best way and maybe not at the best facility. I'm sure that's a thing. So I definitely would just buy it from a company you trust. And maybe that's like not Plant Therapy, right? Maybe it's like a seasoning company, right, that you love and the seasonings are all high quality. Maybe they have a Himalayan salt or something, although that's going to be much smaller and I need much bigger. But I definitely would trust, I would definitely only buy it from a company you trust, just because I'm sure, just because anything that's processed, right, and anything that's made in a facility, you just never know the quality of what's coming. So yeah, I would be a bit careful.
We had somebody asking if the salt is tested for heavy metals, including uranium.
And kiss. Heavy metals like uranium and kiss.
Yeah, we can get back to you on that. I'm not exactly sure what specifically we're testing for. I don't have those exact details, so we can get back to you on that. If you email cs@planttherapy.com, we can get you that information.
That's a good question. I didn't mean to sound like I was making fun of the question. I was just thought, heavy metals.
Those are.
I was thinking of heavy metal bands.
Are there any health issues that will prohibit you from being able to use the salt inhaler, and can it affect your blood pressure?
Yeah, that was Desiree Vargas was asking that same question.
Yeah, that's what I see.
That's probably a cs@planttherapy.com, and they will talk to one of the aromatherapists who knows more than me.
And then earlier you mentioned how many trace minerals are in our salt.
Oh, right.
And on the website
197?
it says 84. So that's still a lot.
Close.
That is a lot.
I knew at one time I knew the number, and 97 was close.
Somebody has a question about nutmeg too. They said they heard it's dangerous to diffuse because it is carcinogenic. They wanted to know if you can clear that up for them.
Yeah, so I mean, the reality is a lot of things that are used in super high concentration are shown to be carcinogenic, right? So there are some essential oil constituents that when used in high concentrations in mice have shown to be carcinogenic. At the amounts and the recommended uses that Plant Therapy gives, I have zero concern with that. Absolutely zero concern. Because the amounts are going to be, because it's always constituents, it's almost always constituents, and it's like 70 mil of this constituent was injected into a mouse and then, they got cancer, right? And then they say that constituent is carcinogenic. So there are essential oils constituents that are considered carcinogenic, but in the amounts that they're in the individual essential oils. There are some essential oils that Plant Therapy doesn't sell because the amounts are much higher. And we're even though it probably, if done at correct amounts, it still is just, still something that we're not comfortable with. But all the ones that Plant Therapy sells, including nutmeg, when used properly, we have zero concern using it topically at the correct dilution. And really the correct dilution is for like irritation or burning, right? More than any carcinogenic concerns, and zero concerns if you're diffusing it. So that's definitely a choice that they would have to make, and continue to do more research. But from my knowledge as an aromatherapist and of the oils and understanding, usually those tests, like whatever goes into, those different test research and stuff on mice, like having read and studied some of those, I have zero concern with using nutmeg or any essential oil that plant therapy sells. Yeah. Okay. So let's do a quick little DIY. Do you guys have any other questions?
Not any huge ones.
Oh, how often can you use the inhaler?
I think it's recommended that you could use it every single day on our website, but I'll check it. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
real quick.
I think you can use it very regularly, but Caitlin's gonna double check that one.
Paul uses the salt inhaler. He really likes it.
Yeah. Paul's broken his nose a few times, and it's really hard for him to breathe. Like he can't breathe as well as other people, because he's literally broken his nose a few times, and yeah, it's really beneficial for things like that. How often would you change the salts? I believe it's on the website, how often to change the salt. Off the top of my head, I know the personal inhalers, I've used them and they can last 2-3 months. You don't need to change the salt. The thing with the Himalayan salt with this is you have to be very careful, because if you breathe into it, if you exhale, so you want to only inhale. If you exhale at all, it can put, it puts moisture on the salt, and then that's not good, and you would need to change the salt. So you just have to be careful that you are only inhaling and not exhaling.
So it doesn't say on there.
What?
On the website.
How often to use it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might on the box, because I know there's a lot more information on the info that goes inside. But email us and we'll find out. Okay, let's see. Can you get the benefits of Himalayan salt if you mix it with sugar? I assume you're meaning topically, and absolutely. Yep, absolutely, you can still get those benefits. Okay, so a quick little DIY for using the coarse salt is just a passive diffusion. So you just want to take some salt, this lovely salt that Danny has here. You're just gonna dump it in a bowl like that. How'd I do, Danny? Still looks good. You're gonna drop your essential oils. I would probably start with 10 drops or so, but just add as many as you need to be able to smell it, right? And then just refresh it as often as you need it as well. I don't know how many drops that is. We're gonna use Firefly flannel. It's fine.
20.
Great. Use 20. And then you just wanna mix it. And then this is just passive diffusion. So you can, sit this in your bathroom. You can sit it on your desk at work. You're gonna mix this together. And then just as soon as, oh, it smells so good. Just as soon as you can't smell it anymore, that's when you're just gonna add a few more drops. And it will last forever. You could use the same salt as long as you're using the same oil. I would use the same salt for months, honestly, you guys. If you're switching oils, I would switch the salt. Or if if the scent's completely gone, you could use the same salt. It's not any science to this. I mean, there might be, but it's fine. This really is just if you can smell it, great. If you can't, put more oil in it. But the salt just soaks it up, and then it's just a fantastic passive diffusion. So, and it's adorable because it's pink, right? Having something like this, a cute little bowl or something, it's really cute. I think it's just absolutely adorable, the pink salt. And it tastes so good.
Tina Gallagher was saying that she's got to leave in a little bit.
Me too.
And was wondering if this information is available on a page later. And it is on our website.
Yeah, so if you go to the blog, there is a blog post called The Benefits of Himalayan Salt. It was from May 2019, and it's The Benefits of Himalayan Salt. Go to that blog post. It links to a lot of different DIYs for bath salts, bath scrubs, all of that kind of stuff. It also talks a lot about the salt inhaler and the benefits of that, the benefits of passive diffusion. So definitely check out that blog post, The Benefits of Himalayan Salt, and it will have a lot of information in there. Yes.
And one last question.
Hey.
that I saw quite a bit was, what is the difference between Himalayan salt, rock salt, and sea salt? And that might be a question we don't have an answer for, but.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a difference. The difference is where they come from, right, and what they're made up of. So not all salt is made up of the same thing. Well, I actually think there's some salt that doesn't even have sodium, right, where the sodium has been extracted out of it. So it just depends. Like the thing that makes Himalayan stand out, and there's other salts that also have lots of minerals, but that's what makes Himalayan stand out, is all the different minerals. And you don't get these minerals from like sea salt, right? The same minerals that are in Himalayan salt you don't get from sea salt or from rock salt. And so that's really, it's like where it comes from, what the salt is made of, what minerals are in that salt, and then of course the pink color, which that alone makes me want to use Himalayan salt because I just think it's adorable. But yeah. So just when you're looking at salt, just do a Google search and find a page that seems reputable and just find out what minerals are in sea salt, what minerals are in Himalayan salt. And you'll see that Himalayan salt is one of the top salts for the amount of minerals that our body needs and uses. Himalayan salt has like some of the most, if not the most from all salts. So it's really awesome. Yes, a lot of our fall blends that are out of stock will be back in stock, I believe, probably early next week. And we're going to do like an email and social post to let you guys know when they are back in stock officially. Okay, so if you have any other questions, make sure you check out the blog post. Just search salt. There's going to be a ton of DIYs. There's a ton of education. You're also welcome to email cs@planttherapy.com. I know there were some questions that I couldn't answer for you today. So email cs@planttherapy.com and we will get those answers for you. And
We do have a question of the day.
we do have a question of the day. Like he said. Let me see what the question of the day is. Okay, do you know anyone who could benefit from Himalayan salt? It says Himalayan salt inhaler, but we can't give that away. So do you know anybody who can benefit from Himalayan salt, or who wants to try Himalayan salt, or who loves Himalayan salt? Anybody. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 winners, and we're going to give the winners and the person that they think could benefit from the salt a bag of salt. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so it will be 4 giveaways total, but we'll be choosing 2, and it will be the 2 winners and then the 2 people that they said could benefit. So, say like your husband could benefit or something. No, don't do that.
Should we send them both types?
Sure.
A bag of each?
Yep. It really is so fantastic, you guys. If you haven't tried it, I really just highly recommend you do. Just like once, because you're going to be blown away of how much better it tastes than regular table salt. Legit, it's so good. Okay, so make sure you enter that via the giveaway link, which Facebook and YouTube, it can be found in the comment section as well as in the live description, and Instagram it's going to be found in the Plant Therapy Stories. It'll say giveaway, swipe up and it will take you to the giveaway link. So let us know on the giveaway link, that's how you can enter. And good luck to everyone. And that's all I have, I think. I don't even know. Monday we will be back, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm sure it's awesome. I look at Danny, he knows.
We have a guest that I'm waiting to hear back from.
Oh, so we might have a special guest with us.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. So maybe we'll have a best special guest. That's Monday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we will see you Monday morning. Bye.